Hey y'all, it's Justin Moore. My new song, This Is My Dirt, is about where I grew up, how I grew up, and specifically the property that I grew up on. Long story short, been in my family since the late 1800s. Went from my great-great-grandpa to my grandpa to now me, and to be able to raise my kids here is really special, and me live here as well, because I grew up here. So hopefully you guys will check it out. Let me know what you think. You know, I would love to take credit for the idea of This Is My Dirt. And I would also love to know who to give credit to, because I don't know either. Well, I know I didn't come up with it. It was somebody else. In the writing room with group of guys who grew up kind of the same way as me, and at the end of the day understood my story and know my story and where I'm from and all that good stuff. So I thought we really, sometimes you go into an idea that you feel like is a really good idea, like This Is My Dirt, and you screw it up because you try to override it, or you do things in the room and to mess a good idea up. And I felt like with this, we did just the opposite. I feel like we made a good idea great. And that's a credit to those guys I was in the room with. But, I grew up on the property that my mom grew up on, my grandfather grew up on, inherited from his grandfather who grew up here. And so for me to now have it, 150 years later, since our family originally got it, is really special to be not only living here and have it, but be raising my own kids here. My favorite lyric in This Is My Dirt is, I'd hate to be the first to sell it. And that was actually my line. That's not why it's my favorite lyric, but it's because right after I bought this property from my grandfather, which was, I think 7-8 years ago now, 8-9 years ago actually, I was trying to buy the property that joined us on the south side. And I'm still trying to buy it, by the way, but there was an old guy who lived there. He's since passed, but a great guy. And he would pop over when we were building our house, and he and I had a lot of great conversations. Just one of those conversations you have, one of those relationships you have rather, where it's, I'm a young adult at the time, early 30s. He's in his late 70s. And we just kind of generated a friendship. I said, man, you need to sell me this place. He goes, it's been in my family for so long. He goes, and nobody has, so I'd hate to be the first to sell it. And as much as I wanted it and still want it, I had more respect for that. So that's why that line is in the song. And so it takes me back to a friendship that I had when I first got this place. To, I guess, piggyback on our new single, This Is My Dirt, I always really love artists and songs that allowed you to know who people were, people, not artists, maybe why they were that way. And I always thought singing about your roots and maybe how you grew up, where you grew up, all those kinds of things, I could relate to that. Alabama, I thought, did a great job at that. Whether it was Born Country or Song of the South or they had a number of them. Hank Jr. always did and has done a great job at that. Country Boy Can't Survive. There's so many. I can't even go into, If Heaven Ain't a Lot Like Dixie. The list goes on and on and on. But even if I didn't grow up the way somebody was singing about, I liked the fact that I knew something about that artist as a human being. And certainly the ones that were singing about the way I grew up, I thought they were writing and singing those songs about me, which made me fall in love with country music. If I'm not mistaken, the very first time that I heard a song of mine on the radio. I was in Houston. There were two instances that come to mind, and I don't remember which was first and which was second, but I'll give you both of them. One of them was in Houston. I had just left a radio station from visiting them on my radio tour. I had no idea, but my record label rep at the time had worked it out with the program director that once we got in our car to go to the next station or town or whatever, they would play my song and we would have the radio on, and so we went nuts and I sang along to it. But the other instance, and again, I don't remember which came first and which came second, but they're both really special. The next time I heard one of my songs on the radio, I was actually, same radio tour, I was going through Arkansas. I wasn't getting to go home, but I was traveling through Arkansas and my song came on, and so that was really, really special, obviously. I mean, to be near my hometown and hear that was pretty cool.